time to get into next season. And there seems to be a little movie that's coming out.
Superman?
Yep. Oh, boy. We are running a Marvel DC crossover. Why not? Marvel Snap. Nope. Can't do that. No. We have Fantastic Four First Steps.
Superman's the 11th.
Yeah.
It's the 25th. Helpful tip, because you probably don't know a lot about marketing your podcast, but you should reshare and highlight the Fantastic Four Superman episode we did on source material in between the 11th and the 25th.
It's a good idea. That's actually a really good idea.
Every once in a while. I'm like a broken clock.
Twice a day. So the Marvel Snap
with
season.
Marvel Boy and promo Fantastic Four and Superman content when their movies come out. Write it down.
Or Fantastic Four is the name of the upcoming season, and that drops July 8th, 2025. That's this upcoming Tuesday. Let's start with Mr. Fantastic First Steps. Boy, we're going to see a lot of repeats here. This is interesting.
I think that's what they need to do. Eventually, even though the Marvel Universe is filled with wonderful, bizarre characters, and I do want a Sleepwalker card, and I do want an Alpha Flight season and an Excalibur season. Some people just care about the strategy, and they won't care if it's a giant space starfish. No, wait, that's a DC one. But I think it's a good idea. You know, they did it with Symbiote Spider-Man. They did it with Sam Wilson, Captain America, and we have talked many times on here about how the Fantastic Four, the original cards, some of them are good. Some are arguably the most useless card in the game, despite being one of my favorite characters. And they do not work well together at all. I mean, I know I tried a while back to make a Fantastic Four deck. I think I almost stumbled onto one, but it was just finding disparate pieces that can go together.
Right. And so, yeah, you make a great point, because what we're going to see here finally is a bit of synergy. We're going to get to see our cards, actually, the Fantastic Four themselves, work well with each other. So first up, Mr. Fantastic First Steps, 2 cost, 2 power. End of turn, give a card in your hand -1 cost or +2 power.
I thought that was the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian.
Look, when it comes to creating interest in characters that have already appeared in Marvel Snap, this is the way.
There we go. I put down here, he's nice to get out there. I assume anything that's going to help you lower cost, boost power, like Surge. Arisham's probably nice. Quinjet would be nice to get some cost down too. This is at the end of every turn. I like it. We're going to see this mechanic a little bit more throughout the rest of these cards. End of turn. I like it. I don't find much to complain about it. How about you?
I described him as slower Phastos.
Okay. All right.
It's the same effect as Phastos, but instead of everybody in your deck, it's one card at a time. He'll be a good one to put with Clea, because he could boost her up, but you don't quite know how it's going to go. So, but yeah, definitely a different approach than the original Mr. Fantastic, who is useful at times. Good start. Good start.
And just to point out here, because the next one we got to talk about is also part of a season pass. But the Mr. Fantastic card is the season pass card that you get. And then if you get the super premium or the premium season pass card, whatever it's called, the next card is Fantasticar. 4 cost, 7 power, activate, give all of your in-turn cards +2 power. So yeah, super premium pass cards, what I got written down here. Like I said, we got some synergy with other Fantastic Four cards, because you're going to see this end of turn stuff pop up quite a couple more times. I like the Fantasticar. I think it's a good idea. Am I going to be getting it? I don't think I'll be spending the money for it initially. Hopefully it'll come out later, just like you said.
It'll drop to Series 4 in a month or so.
There we go. So we'll have the opportunity to try and get it. So what's your thoughts on Fantasticar?
It's a little disappointing that Ben Grimm's ride is more effective than he is. It's like, I play HeroClix, and there was a set in HeroClix where you could buy an additional larger box and get a vehicle. I never got any of them for a couple reasons. One, I could get a box with 5 characters or a vehicle. There were some cool vehicles. There was like the Batmobile, Blue Beetle's Bug, the Haunted Tank.
Ooh.
But you could also just get a tank or a police car.
Okay.
Not only, so you're spending more than you would spend to get the comic book characters you're playing with, and you might get a generic car that was also somehow better than the comic book characters. Like, I could have Batman, or I could just run you over with a police car. It didn't appeal to me. Now, I don't have that problem with the Fantasticar, other than they've just locked poor Ben Grimm into, well, he's got a space that he has to occupy in the game, and if you change that, then the two things that make him somewhat useful don't work anymore. And he undermines Patriot and High Evolutionary. And why would we want to take away from those icons of pop culture when we could just keep dumping on the ever-loving blue-eyed idol of millions? Sorry. Anyway, in just a little while, we'll have a more usable thing.
That's right.
So, no, I mean, it works. It synergizes with all the other Fantastic Four stuff. It's a card I wouldn't mind having, but also a card that I'm not going to spend extra money for, nor get mad that somebody, it's like, so if I don't give you an extra $10, I don't get the Fantasticar. Okay. If you want a money-making strategy, put one of the Fantastic Four for the Super Premium Pass. That'd get people mad.
Yeah.
That might even get me to shake my head and tisk a little.
Give me that blueprint variant immediately.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see it. I want to see it.
Maybe a Ghost Riderized Fantastic.
Oh, look out. All right, next up, H.E.R.B.I.E. 2 cost, 3 power. Each turn this is in place, swap to a new activate ability until one is used. Again, we're adding a little bit of chaos to things here, which is always gets a good thumbs up from me, but I don't know how useful it's going to be. I'm not extremely familiar with all of the activates that are out there, but none of them off the top of my head are like, oh my goodness, this is a big deal. But
I wonder if it's going to be an existing one, or if he actually has his own activates like the skill cards.
I would assume. And the thing is, we don't have a dev video to go off of either here, which puts us at a disadvantage to one of our locations here that we're going to be talking about. So we're kind of talking about this before they even drop a dev video that covers this stuff. My assumption was he has an activate, and then the activate just changes every turn.
So he's like Nico with activate. To me, he's Nico with activate. It could be interesting. H.E.R.B.I.E. is one of those that, on the one hand, you're like, why? And on the other hand, oh, this is great. Obscure Marvel. If you're not excited about H.E.R.B.I.E., may I recommend to you Fantastic Four Volume Who the Heck Even Knows, number 33 by Ryan North, the latest issue that's out, narrated from H.E.R.B.I.E.'s perspective. And I'm like, okay, well, H.E.R.B.I.E.'s in the movie, so I understand we got to do a little tie-in. And why are you making me feel things about a robot named H.E.R.B.I.E., Ryan North? Why are you doing this to me? So
Love it.
Best takes on the Fantastic Four I've ever read. The whole series, H.E.R.B.I.E. I'm just like, oh yeah, H.E.R.B.I.E. That weird thing they put in place of the torch in that cartoon way back when. It's like a trivia question. Oh no, what's happening? Why am I feeling things?
Mad Thinker is up next. 1 cost, 1 power. At the start of each turn, gain +2 power if your hand is full. So that's after you draw.
And usually you don't want your hand full, so you can draw cards. Yeah.
I thought it was, okay, yeah, cool mechanic for the card. You grab yourself some cards that'll get you some cards, add some cards to your hand, and don't forget about Adam Warlock. Get him out there. You can get your hand full pretty quickly.
Devil Dinosaur always appreciates a full hand. Him and Mad Thinker hanging out like in West Coast Avengers number 92.
You have any thoughts on Magic Thinker?
No, you hit the nail on the head. Decks that add to your hand or keep a lot of cards in your hand, he'll be right at home there. And 1 cost, 1 power, not a lot to commit to there.
All right. Next up is Mole Man, 3 cost, 3 power. I like this card. On reveal, banish the top card of your deck, and then you get to add 2 rocks to your hand with the power set to the banished card's cost. You want a high cost card on the top of your deck to banish. So the most you could probably get, unless you got maybe Death is in there, but you usually are looking between 6 and 8. You can have those rocks powered for that. I like that idea because they're going to be 1 cost and they're going to make an impact. So Mole Man, I'm a fan of here.
Yeah. The only knock I have is I read somewhere, and I wish I knew where so I could credit it, that somebody suggested that instead of rocks, some of those subterranean locations should give you moloids.
Right.
So on the one hand, we've got the rocks, and they're kind of a punchline and a love-hate thing in Snap, but it seems to me like you could have some cool monster cards or moloids or something like that. But that's the only note I have on it. Good, interesting power. Not something I would have thought of, so I like the way they keep coming up with twists on this stuff.
My addition to that was also, throwing them in there with Mr. Negative, just in case you don't draw Mr. Negative. You can still get some of those high-powered cards to be a little bit useful if you can't use them. So
more food for Strange Supreme.
Human Torch, first steps, 3 cost, 2 power. On end of turn, +1 power. Once per game, if your side here is full, double this card's power instead. So you get him out there turn 3, you got 4, 5, and 6, possibly 7. He's gaining a power each time. If you can fill that lane up, then he's going to double his power. I assume when the lane gets full, that's my guess.
Be at the end of the turn. If the lane's full at the end of your turn.
Okay, yeah,
instead of the +1 power, you double it. The original Human Torch is a pretty popular card. Could this version, based on the likeness of Joseph Quinn, become more popular? Stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. Surfer deck.
Oh, yeah.
That's really... I do enjoy how they're keeping the double the power aspect of this card. So that's pretty cool. I think that fits well with Johnny Storm. Surfer deck all the way. What are your thoughts here?
Since you're wanting to fill the lane up, I know sometimes I'm hesitant to fill a lane up because then that lets my opponent know exactly how much they need to play there to win it. So maybe I could see him working with Kitty Pryde or move cards where you can fill it up and then move over. Maybe Elsa Bloodstone works well in those situations, and also as a 3 cost, so it could pair with the Surfer. If you are trying to fill up lanes with the Torch or our next card, then Dazzler is a possibility as well.
And the moment has arrived. Ben Grimm, the ever-loving blue-eyed thing, gets a card. First steps, the thing costs 6 power. End of turn, +2 power. Once per game, if your side here is full, destroy an enemy card here with less power. Does Ben Grimm finally get his day?
It might finally be clobbering time. Of all the top tier Marvel characters, this one more than any other could certainly bear an upgrade. That's the sphere that guy's on, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Look, I'm trying.
I know
he's been in. I better get on IMDb while you talk about this card. But yeah, it synergizes well with the others. Yeah, +2 power at the end of the turn, and then destroy an enemy card with less power. For Ben Grimm, it should be destroying an enemy card with more power because he's not a bully. He always takes on the big guy. But in game terms, it works pretty well, especially if you can get him out a little earlier. Maybe Jubilee's somebody you throw in here in hopes of having him appear earlier, or Lockjaw, who, in the Thing series we read was Ben Grimm's dog for a while. So
that's right. Right.
Of course, Lockjaw, they kind of limited his ability now. But yeah, I mean, even if you put him down on turn 5, you get him to 8, and then you fill it up, and he takes out a card with less power. He could easily win you a lane.
Yes. Finally.
Yes.
He is effective.
This Rolling Stone will gather no moss.
All right. I love it. The Thing is now... I love the fact that you can put them in a deck. I don't play hardly any of the cards without abilities ever. Cyclops. Really, the one that I play the most without an ability is the Wasp. I don't have high evolutionary, so yeah, this is going to be nice. All right. Last card of the season, Invisible Woman, first steps, 3 cost, 5 power, activate. This turn, your end of turn abilities happen twice. I didn't look to see what other end of turn cards are out there. I'm sure there's a few others. I don't think it's a staggering amount, but there's some other end of turns out there. You are going to want her out there. I love it's an activate ability, so it can happen at any point. You can lay her out there at any point and then have her do this right at the end of the game.
Yeah, if they forget it's an activate, they won't see it coming.
Mm-hmm. Invisible.
The only thing I've seen Vanessa Kirby in is Hobbs and Shaw. And
Hobbs. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's been a while.
I mean, I'm going to get, if I can't come up with a joke about that, I'm going to get furious real fast.
Any other thoughts on Invisible Woman?
No, I like it. And it even fits a little thematically because, in a lot of ways, she's like the heart of the team and the most powerful one and can make everybody better. So, yeah, I like that. Oh, hey, you know who's an end turn card?
Tell me.
Boy.
Wow. Boy. Man. Well, it's good again to see
Sunspot. Ooh, Sunspot.
Dude. Wow.
Okay. Now, maybe I want Invisible Woman first steps in my Shulkanaut deck because when I'm taking off turn 6 so I can play She-Hulk and Infonaut, and Sunspot gets my 6 unspent energy added to his power.
Yeah, dude.
Let's make it 12.
Wow. All right.
Adam Warlock, end of turn.
Yeah, that'd be
Havoc.
nice. Okay. So does he eat energy at the end of the turn too? As well,
yeah.
I should say.
Yeah, he does eat the energy. Strange Supreme, end of turn. Oh, I think I found my favorite card from this season.
I was going to say this is actually sounding really nice. Aside from, Doom
2099, end of turn.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
Red Hulk.
We're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait until the end of this season.
Eson.
Jeez, criminy. See any other ones?
It's 15 total.
15.
Have been Hydra Bob, Adam Warlock, Havoc, Thena, Bruce Banner. You couldn't really do that one twice, but maybe it gives you 2 chances to Hulk out. Strange Supreme, Thunderbolt Ross, Black Cat. What's she going to do? Discard twice. Marvel Boy, Makari. Again, that's pretty much a one and done. Doom 2099, Atuma, Eson, Red Hulk.
Well, I know. Yeah, Sunspot is phenomenal. I love the idea of Sunspot doing that twice. Can't wait to see her in action. So that's going to be fun. All right. Locations. Our first one is Rocket Pad. After turn 4, give cards on the winning side here. This is where we needed the dev video because I don't know what this plus power is. It's probably +1 is my guess.
If you're on the winning side, you probably got a lot of cards, so that can make a difference. It'll be another race to fill it up. I've messed with your strategy in other locations. I need to put a card here, but I want to get somebody out of the vault.
Right.
Don't want my opponent getting a +3 power from the White Hot Room.
Reed's Lab, +1 energy each turn if your side here is full. Get a Surfer deck ready because if you have a full side, you've got Johnny, Human Torch sitting there along with the Brood. They're going to fit so well inside of that.
And again, Shadow Cat, in case you want to get that bonus but don't want to lock that location down completely.
All right. Any other thoughts on the locations here?
No.
Here we go. We did it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our discussion of the upcoming season, Fantastic Four, which drops July 8th of 2025. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.